Alright guys, so what we're going to do in this session or tutorial, whatever what you want to call it, we're going to be looking at, so by now you know you've got the brief for what needs to be created for your actual website assignment. So we're going to sort of, I know a lot of these video tutorials so far have been for a sort of just random different website. But what I wanted to go back to for these bits is this initial one that we did together. I know some bits have changed there, but we need to add some. Yeah, I think it's basically the same as what it was actually. There's this random one that we started off with where we just did this website about trees. So what we're going to look at though in particular is a couple of the bits that you're going to need to do as part of the assignment for the website there. You need to create a page of like a company profile or people, not company profile, the employee's profile of whose works there already and what they do, as one of the pages. So I thought we'd look at that, which again is just, using what we've done already um, in a similar way, and how you can just turn that into a profiles page. And also, we're going to look at doing a form because what you also need in the assignment is an application form. So we'll do that as well. Okay, again, these will be covered in class, but this is kind of good to, as a resource for you to go back to and look over again. So what I've done already is I've changed the name of these tabs here. One's to profiles and one's to apply. And I've just emptied them out. So I've got the same, structure to the website as my other pages, but I've just emptied out the middle section. Just so you know, this cabins page, remember we did this as a sort of alternative idea in terms of layout in one of our lessons. So that's that page there. That's why it looks a bit different. So to empty the pages out, what I've done, so I come here to my code, all my pages along the top here, and I've got two style sheets. The reason I've got two style sheets is, again, just because of this cabins page, it used a different layout, which used this alternative style sheet. So that's just why that's there, just in case you're wondering. So if I go to the HTML for my index page or my home page, to create these extra pages, all you need to do is just go File, New File, and then save it as what you need to save it as. And in terms of how that's working, in terms of how they're linking, we go back to the code for our navbar, and you can see I've got a file here, index.html, I've got about.html, contact.html, news.html. That's how it was set up originally. And if I go to my website folder, which currently looks like this, you can see I have those pages within here. Okay, and that's just what they're named, so what those files are named. Okay, and then this bit, as you remember, is what changes what the actual navbar says here. Okay, which is why I've changed it to profiles, but I haven't changed the file name. So that's why that kind of doesn't really correlate up very well. But again, what you guys would do is obviously make sure that you named your files appropriately, as well as the tabs in the navigation bar. Okay, so that's just how the extra pages link together. So yeah, all you can do when you do create a new one, what I generally do if I've got my home page set up and I want to use the same layout, I just grab all of it, copy it, and chuck it all in. And then I go to, you see the color coding's gone because I haven't saved it as a HTML file. So I go to my content M, and I would just, get everything that's in there, get rid of it, and then I can save it again. And if I just close that down, don't save. That's exactly what I've done for this page, which is going to be used for my profiles page. I've just copied it all over and emptied out the content middle. Okay, and then it just gives me this. So I'm ready to put in some different content here. All right, so that's an easy sort of way to just create more pages, and you want to keep the same layout, same navbar, and then just change the middle. Obviously, then you can change the title. So you can see that I've changed that my H1 there to profiles. That's all I really needed to change. And then it's ready to go. Okay, so nice easy way to make new pages. An extra thing that I've added onto this page that I didn't have on the others. So if I'm on this profile page, see here on my tab, which is essentially outside of the body of the website itself, I've got profiles written there, which, as you remember, is from where's it gone? Sorry, miles away. This title tag is where you write down what you want it to say in your tab. What I've also put in here is this, okay, into the head section. So again, it's the parts that are outside of the actual body of the website. And it's a link this time. And the relationship of the link, it's the icon, and then the href, which is a link to the file that you want to use. So I've used this PNG image called cabin, which is that one. And I just used that as the icon, which is there next to it. If I go to my home page, you'll notice I don't have the icon, and there I do. Okay, because that code isn't there on the index, but it is here. All right, so I want that on all my pages, so I can just add that in there, add that into that one, this one as well. I already did it on that one, so that's fine. Make sure they're all saved. See this white dot? That's because it hasn't been saved. And then I can see the icon is on all of them. And you might want to have different icons, different pages. I don't know. That's down to you. Okay, so just a quick tip there on how to add the icon to your tab. Now, profile. So if we come down to my content middle, so I've emptied this out now, and it's there's nothing there. So what I want to do is first things first. I want to put in an image. So image source equals, again, the tag you should know by now. And I've got this image in here, which is profile 1. I'm going to put profile 1. And I'm going to assume it's a JPEG for now, but we'll need to check and then end the tag. Okay, so there we are. Save it. Let's come here and refresh. And I can see here that this is an issue that a lot of you might find, that when you add an image, it comes up like this. That's because we've got part of the code wrong. So obviously the likelihood is either it's the file name's wrong, or the file extension is wrong. So if I come here and just right click it and go to properties, you'll see the extension. And in this case, this is always a bit of a weird one. It is a JPEG, but it's a JPEG. The difference between it is, well, not for now, but just the main thing is that it does need to be exactly the same as what is there. So even though it is a JPEG, it must be JPEG. So let's save that again. And there we go. Now it's accepted the image. So I've got a profile picture, great. And now I want probably a description. So I'm going to do a P tag. I'm not going to, you guys will write in an actual description for your actual websites. You can't just use the old lorem ipsum, but I've got some, just off screen. I can just copy and chuck into there. Okay. So you would actually write your actual description of the jobs profile there. And that's added that to the page. Again, it doesn't look very good, but it's added it to the page. So remember, HTML is just about adding in your content. Yeah, I just kind of want to copy that formula again. I want another image and another description for the next person. So I just copy that, paste it again. This is my next person. I'm going to just make sure that these all align. Oh, that'll do. That'll do. That's fine. Save that and refresh again. And now I've got a profile for another person and another description. Pictures are going to be different, so I've actually got another picture ready. Just close down that. This one, which I've just called profile 2. So again, I'm going to go to the properties of this one, and this is another weird file type. Again, don't worry too much about what the file types are for now. Just make sure, obviously, that you're addressing the file type as it is. It's a JFIF file. So I need to come to my code and it's profile 2, and it's JFIF. I'm going to save that, and then bingo, it's changed to the second profile. Okay, and you might want your images down the side, and there's ways of you could have the text next to the image there. If you wanted to do that. If you did want to do that, I would recommend just having, instead of, this is just one div container, this whole sort of white space here, that's one div container that we're using, our content M. If you wanted the images down one side and then the descriptions down another, you might want to just do it as, you'd need to do it as more div boxes really, so you could have two columns where you had images in one and the text in another, or you could have it as multiple rows of div boxes if you wanted to go down that route. We're doing it, and this is the simplest way, keeping it all as one container. And I'm going to sort of centralize things similarly to my home page, where I just sort of got everything to be more central in the middle there. So again, what I'm going to do, an easy way to center everything is with the center tag. So I'm going to come up to here because that's where the start of my content is for this div box. And I'm going to type in center. And it gives me the end closing of that tag, which I don't want it to be there. I want that to contain all of this, all of this, all of this, all of this, all the way down to there. So there's the start and end of everything that I want centered. So if I save that, that's kept that nice and central. And that's kind of fine. I've got my profiles underneath here. What I probably want is a description actually of who this person is before it actually goes into it. So what I'm going to do is, before the P tag starts, I'm going to give myself a H2. It's not really a H1 because it's not the main heading of the page. It's a H2, it's a subheading. And give this guy a name. I think this was the name I used before. Andrew Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Matrix reference. This guy, he can be a back-end developer. Obviously, you guys will look into jobs within web companies and put in relevant things and write about what that person would be doing in their job there. So we'll save that. So that's all central immediately because it's still within the center tag that we created earlier. So yep, that's fine. I want to do the same for this lady here. So I'm going to just copy the H2 I've done already. Makes it a bit easier. Then under the image, paste that in. What name did I give you? Anna Alexander. And you can be our company front-end developer. Great, save that, refresh, and there we go. Cool. So that kind of works, that makes me see that that's about him. There's a blurb about him, and then that's her, and that's what she gets up to. So that's fine, but still some issues that need fixing, and this is going to have to be what we do with our style sheet. So I'm not so keen on the font, particularly for that heading. I want that to match my other headings. And the main issue is that this text goes too close up to the edge, which is, again, just a standard sort of spacing, white spacing thing that's just makes it a bit, nicer to look at. And also, if this was something here that had content in, particularly text, the text would be right up next to each other, which you don't want because it makes it hard to read, especially if the background colors are again the same. So you want a bit of padding around that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my style sheet. I'm going to go to my content M stuff. This is all the stuff for my content M. There's stuff for my images already. And there's one for the H1. So underneath there, I want .content M, because it's still stuff within content M that we're addressing. And what is it that I'm changing? The P, the P tag. Okay, so that's going to change the P tags that are in my content M. What do I want around them? Well, let's try padding first. Put padding on the left. of about 50 pixels. Let's save that. Okay, great. So that's moved that up a bit, you see? Moved it up there as well. That's nice. That's fine. But we want that on the other side as well. So padding right 50 pixels. All right, and we'll save that. And there we go. Let's put some padding on both sides, an even amount. That's great. That's looking good. I'm happy with that. I need to change these titles though. So again, we're going to come down here. Here's my content M. There's the H1, but I want to change the H2. So I'll do it underneath that. Content M. H2 this time we're addressing. And what do I want to change? Just the font. So I've already done that with that. I'll just copy that and put it there. So it's H2s are going to use the same font as H1. And I'll refresh that. And there we go. That looks a lot better. It's done that for both of them. Grand. And that's looking like a fairly nice profile page just by doing that. Okay, so again, you could change the, if you wanted to add more people, which you probably would for your own assignment, you want to add more. Let's look at adding more just quickly. So I'll go back to the HTML. Again, just copy the image, the heading, and the paragraph for the person you've got already. And then paste it there, remembering to make sure the end of center stays at the end. And save. And then refresh. But you'll notice this time, look, my footer is not now at the bottom. That's a bit of an issue. So we need to push that down. So that's going to have to be done in the style sheet. So that I'm going to have to come to the main, just the CSS, there it is, that's just addressing the content M, just that div box itself, not the image that's within it, not the heading that's within it, the box itself. That's where we made it a width of 70% right back in the beginning. And you can see I've got a height value here as well. Now, I know it doesn't make sense that that's over 100%, 150%. That doesn't make any sense. But it's because we're addressing the height. And some of you, who may have done a lot of this kind of stuff before might be thinking that's really not perhaps a brilliant way of doing it. And there are other ways of doing it, but we're trying to just keep it as straightforward as we can, really, I suppose, for us. So, the easiest thing to do is we can kind of, seems like it's fudging it, but we can just change that to 200%, for example, and refresh, and you see that just extends that down. It's not done quite enough because I still can't see the paragraph text for that. So just keep raising this number, 250. Okay, that's fine. However far you need to go. And obviously that's going to be the same for the left and right because they've stopped there. So content left, there you go. You can see that's, and then I need to go up to 250 as well. And then, yeah, you get the idea. Do the right one. Content right, 250. Boom. And then you can just extend that for as long as you need it to be. Yep. And then obviously, I don't have run-out pictures, but you would change the picture and everything. There's other jobs that would be in web development company, things like full stack would be the person that does both. Your UI designer, UX designers, all sorts of things. But that's a bit of stuff that you would need to research yourselves. All right, so that's kind of just a simple way of doing a profile page. As I said, it's not the only way. You can play around with the layout of the div boxes. You could have lots more within here, so you could have the picture with stuff to the side of it. However you wanted to do it. That's about experimentation, and you learn from experimentation and playing around with that. So you don't just have to copy the exact way I've done it. Do it in a way that suits you and is per your design work as well. All right, but I think this has gone on long enough. We'll do the form in the next video, in a separate video. All right, but hopefully that's helpful for the profile page, and that's all for now.